Reagan said it best. Government is not the solution, government is the problem. And I'll give kudos to Bill about the right to work statement. That's exactly what we need to do. Mike Bouchard, who's running for governor, he's signed on to that as well. So in the short term for Michigan, though, I think what we need to do, we've all kind of touched on it already tonight, is I believe in Reaganomics. We've got to reduce taxes across the board. And what that does is allow people to keep more of their own money. Small business, big business, and when they keep more of their own money, they reinvest it and they hire more people. You have more people working, guess what? Revenue for the state grows, revenue for the government grows.
And Mr. Reicher.
That's a really good question. The question was, what can Congress do to help Michigan get out of our economic doldrums? One of the things that we need to do is build small business here. I hope to be a member of the Small Business Committee in the House of Representatives. There's currently no member of Congress from Michigan who serves in the Small Business Committee. That committee can make such a huge difference to the people that are advocating for our small economies. The other things that we need to look at are dealing with the real problems for small business, which is a lack of access to capital. They used to be able to go to the local community bank. They used to be able to go to Dr. Smith down the street. All of those funds for most small businesses in the state have pretty much disappeared. We need to find ways to do it. We need to promote exports as well, particularly for small businesses, industries, our agricultural sector, which is very strong, our technology sector, which is very strong. And you need somebody in Washington who understands how those systems work.
My name's Scott McNeil. I'm running for state rep in the 92nd District. The 92nd has been designed so that only a Democrat can win. The August 3rd primary will determine your next representative in Lansing. Vote for Scott McNeil to bring jobs back to the 92nd.
Hi, I'm Joe Ferrier. I want to be your next Muskegon County Drain Commissioner. I'm honest, dedicated, loyal, and a very hard worker. My experiences as a business owner, construction contractor, and real estate broker make me the most qualified manager over the responsibilities of the Drain Commission. After being interviewed, I received the very highest rating from the Muskegon Area Chamber of Commerce. I am qualified to do the job. I have first-hand knowledge of the effects of stormwater. Visit me at www.voteferrier.com. Thank you.
My name's Scott McNeil. I'm running for state representative in the 92nd District. My opponents all want to spend more of your money. Can you afford to spend more money? Vote for Scott McNeil to cut spending and bring jobs back to the 92nd District.
I'm from the International Commerce and State Commerce. And we're going to start this round with Mr. Larson.
If anything, the federal government should help facilitate, but if we take a look at Great Lakes water withdrawal and the compact protecting the Great Lakes, I think again it's has to do with the states. Obviously, since Congress extends all the way through the Seaway and such, again, I think it would have to do with federal government facilitating the discussions that come out of that.
Mr. Eisenman.
Simply, I believe we need to get ecological separation of Great Lakes from the Mississippi waterway. Ultimately, that is how we are going to deal with this. We fought God and Mother Nature by reversing the course of the Chicago River, and we're paying the price. Now, one of the reasons why it was done is because we had invasive species going the opposite direction. So we've got to get very, very serious about that. There will be some other issues that we have to take care of in Chicago, whether it's flooding and transportation and those kinds of things. But this is something that needs to happen for the Great Lakes, for the health of the Great Lakes. It's not just Michigan. This is an international waterway, and we need to treat it as such.
Senator Harris.
The Great Lakes are certainly an important part of industry here in the state of Michigan and throughout all the states in the Great Lakes Basin. We talk a lot about states' rights. I think the federal government needs to be on the hook, especially for those invasive species that are coming in from our ocean-bearing traders. Congress should have insisted
that those freighters coming into the Great Lakes purge their bilge before they come in. They're largely responsible for the invasion of zebra mussels and some of the other invasive species that we have in the Great Lakes system today. Unfortunately, Congress wasn't willing to take that on because of the power of the shipping industry. In terms of Asian carp, I think in the short term, we should make sure that we have more electronic fences and that we're doing more with poisons to ensure that they don't get close or in the Great Lakes. But I think one of the conversations we've had with Hoekstra, he indicated that there's always that rare possibility that someone, as a joke, will catch a carp and plant it in the Great Lakes. I don't know how you stop that.
Mr. Ryder.
Thank you. I think that's a really important question. And let's look at the way governments function. Bert Ehlers identified the fact that the Asian carp was coming off the Mississippi River over 10 years ago. Yelled as loud as he could and nobody listened. One of the problems we have is there's no single agency within our government that is looking at invasive species in the Great Lakes. We currently have 286 invasive species in the lakes. There are every 28 weeks a new one comes into the lakes. We have 19% of the world's fresh water. It's our greatest asset. We don't know what the value of that water is going to be in 50 years for us as humans, for the businesses that need clean water. We need to hold on to that water. We need to have a single agency that takes care of it. And secondly, we cannot allow the Southwest to suck water out of our lakes. Senator Kuypers mentioned the issue of the ships. We need to control their ballast. We need to control their hulls, and we need to have very, very clear inspections before ships are allowed into the Great Lakes.
Mr. Chairman.
Everything's pretty much said. The only thing that I would add is that we need to enforce the laws that are already on the books. Let's start with that.
Mr. Reamer.
Well, we need to recognize that this is a $7 billion industry here, and it's our greatest natural resource. Tourism, recreation, and we love our views here in West Michigan, so we need to protect it at all costs. What would I advocate as it relates to invasive species is an all-of-the-above approach, much like energy policy. Kill zones, electric fences, they actually now can abate the Asian carp, and so I would advocate that, and I agree with you that you need to have one centralized agency to address the problem. We can't have multiple agencies trying to handle it because clearly that hasn't worked. We've got to protect our greatest natural resource and recognize that this is an important issue for West Michigan, and we need to have a congressman that will champion, much like Congressman Pete Hoekstra has, and I would hopefully be that next strong voice for that.
Mr. Cooper.
I think that, obviously about all of the above strategy to stop invasive species from getting into the Great Lakes. Alan Simon and the Water Institute recently spoke about this. He said one of the reasons why everybody's so up in arms about the Asian carp is because it's so visible and you can see it. But his field said there are 286 invasive species in the Great Lakes. I think we need a two-part plan. And all of the above strategies to stop invasive species from getting into the Great Lakes. But then we also need to be realistic and realize that there are still going to be things getting in there. Eventually there will be an Asian carp that's going to make its way into the Great Lakes. We also need to have a plan of what we're going to do to deal with the issue when it happens, because it undoubtedly will happen.
The Constitution gives Congress very limited powers. Yet Congress regulates things through the holding of the purse strings, regulates things such as speed limits and drinking age and education. What should we do, or what should you do, if anything, to rein back the power that Congress has been exercising? We're going to start with Mr. Riker.
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
What should we do, if anything, to rein back the power that Congress is exercising in areas that are not delegated to it under the Constitution?
Well, one of the things that, one of the reasons that we are all Republicans at this table is that we believe that local government is the best possible form of government. We need to basically recognize the free enterprise system as our primary economic driver. We need to